It's been a while since I've done a video on the thing, partly because I thought to myself that I've covered pretty much everything that could be covered about my favorite superhero, but as it turns out, I'm kind of wrong. Now, we've learned how the thing's body works, how he moves, eats, breathes, shits as a living rock. We've seen Doctor Doom become the Thing and Ben Grimm become the Hulk. We've seen the Thing become so consumed with the Venom symbiote that his family died because of it. We've learned how long the Thing can actually live for, which as it turns out, is like a couple thousand years. And we all cried together when the Thing became human again for a short while, getting to have the best day of his life with everyone he loves. And now, to end the tradition of my Thing videos, I think we should all talk about the worst thing that ever happened to the Thing in Marvel Adventures number 17. Now, the story starts us off at Grand Central Station with the Fantastic Four taking the subway after their fantastic car was turned into a powdered donut by an evil magician from the future. Stuck with luggage duty and tired out of his mind, Ben stops for a moment to cool off, removing his fedora, which causes someone to shriek with fear, as an old lady begins pointing and shouting at Ben that he's a monster and someone should call the police. Luckily for Ben, Susan can turn him invisible to just make it look like the old lady was actually crazy, but Ben feels hurt deep down that people look at him like a monster still, a freak, thanking Susan, but telling her that he can make himself invisible on his own. Walking off the bad vibes from earlier at the station, Ben finds himself at Yancey Street where he grew up, and for a second he hears another woman scream, which makes him even angrier than before, till he looks in front of him to see a lady in the process of getting mugged. So stepping in to stop the thugs, they mock Ben for being a big ugly orange rock, but Ben just ignores them to check the time, to see if it's clobbering time. While fighting, the thugs begin hitting Ben with sledgehammers, remarking that they can't even make a dent on him. But Ben retorts that he may be ugly on the outside, but he's also darn near invulnerable too. So after making the thugs apologize to the lady, Ben checks to see if she's alright. But in an unexpected turn of events, the lady asks if Ben's alright, which shocks the hell out of him because usually the people he saves are scared of him. So the lady named Jennifer says, "Are you kidding? You saved my life. What would I have to be afraid of?" The Thing, quite flustered, is like, maybe I should go get those men. But Jennifer wants Ben to stay because she feels safe by his side. And after a few hours, Ben eventually brings Jennifer home, where she says she'll have to repay him with breakfast sometime. Ben, taken aback, is like, "You go out with me? In public?" Which is just the saddest thing he could ever say out loud. And Jennifer says, "Of course, silly. Give me a call sometime." Arriving back home, Ben sort of just sits in the living room like a lost puppy while everyone worries on if he's okay or not. But they don't want to bother him and make him feel worse at the same time, so they choose to just leave him alone. Sitting in the living room, Ben sits by the phone for hours, waiting for Jennifer to call him. Hours go by, and nothing, making Ben begin to think that it may have all been some kind of cruel joke. But at 10 o'clock at night, Ben rushes to the ringing phone to hear Jennifer's voice, as she calls to see if Ben may be free tomorrow morning for a nice day out on the town. The next day, they go out in public with each other, and while Ben is insecure about how everyone's staring at him, Jennifer raises his spirits and tells him not to care what other people think. Weeks later, they go to a super fancy restaurant where the waiter gives the two of them grief about not wearing the proper attire. So on the next date, they get Ben a suit to eat at the same place, ordering snails, lobster, and all other fancy types of food. And finally, Ben walks Jennifer home, passing by the very spot where they first met. As they walk up the steps to her house, Jennifer asks Ben to come by her workplace for lunch tomorrow because she just simply can't get enough of him. And with that, while walking back home, Ben begins to feel something he hadn't felt in a long time: love. Walking to her job at a manufacturing plant, Ben gets all excited to see Jennifer, till he finds her tied up in one of the warehouses, with the villain known as Absorbing Man just around the corner. Basically, whatever he touches, he becomes that. Announcing to Ben that he was paid top dollar to take a chunk of skin off of the Thing, and he ain't leaving till he gets what he came for. Attempting to protect Jennifer, Creel lands a nasty blow on Ben, hurtling him back a couple dozen feet. While getting up, Creel turns his skin into diamonds so to be strong enough to cut through anything. Slicing and dicing, it turns out that Ben's skin is harder than diamonds, in which Ben throws Creel into a vat of molten lead, which turns Creel into that, inspiring Creel to try and burn Ben from the inside out of his rocky shell. But when that doesn't work, he throws Ben into an excavator, hoping that that'll do the trick, which causes the entire manufacturing plant to completely explode. With the dust finally settled, Ben gets up like nothing happened, which angers Creel because literally everything he tried didn't work. So Creel decides to give up, apologizing to Jennifer, adding that she'll have to hire somebody else to take a piece of the Thing. Ben, overhearing what Creel just said, stands by Jennifer completely dumbfounded, where Jennifer explains that she inherited this company 6 months ago, and for that time she's been losing copious amounts of money, yelling at Ben not to look at her like that, asking if Ben has any idea how valuable his skin truly is. It could revolutionize the machining industry. It could save her company. So she made a couple of her employees act like they were mugging her so that they could get a sample off of the thing. But while she continues to explain, Ben hears nothing. He's devastated, torn apart from the inside out in his heart. To which Jennifer in frustration says, "Oh, come on. You didn't actually think I liked you, did you? What do I look like? Some kind of freak? You think I'm into monsters?" And Ben just stands silently, looking down to the ground, feeling nothing but heartbroken. Turning around in silence, Ben begins grabbing a chunk of his skin tightly, shaking, and gritting his teeth like never before, until finally ripping a chunk of his shell from his own body, telling Jennifer that the last couple of weeks were really special, and that he thought she was his friend, as he gives her a piece of his skin. After doing so, as Ben starts leaving, he just says all she could have done was just ask, leaving her ashamed of herself and her actions. Upon leaving, the rest of the Fantastic Four arrive to help Ben, but arrive too late. They all show concern for him, but Ben just chooses to ignore them, reaching into his compartment, grabbing his trench coat, sunglasses, and fedora to walk off the plane, and to just all around be invisible again. Yet Reed sees the chunk missing and asks if he can run a quick health scan to help him, but Ben says just don't waste your time. Scans ain't gonna pick up where I'm hurt. Ending the story. What can I say? This is probably the saddest thing story I've ever read, aside from the one where he lives to be 6,000. But I love this comic for how it shows most of all Ben's craving for love and to be looked at like a normal human being. When he says stuff like, "You're not afraid of me," or "You want to be seen in public with me," or even him just waiting by the phone hoping to get a call back, it all just cuts so deep when it's revealed that she's just a scummy person in the end, just taking advantage of Ben to further her own agenda. Not even taking into account that Ben is just a person underneath that huge, orange, rocky shell. I adore when the Thing is written like this. Cursed to look like a monster when all he is just a guy just always trying to do the right thing underneath. And the amount of class he has at the end to just swallow that pain and keep on pushing is just so endearing. It's such a good comic that y'all should definitely read for yourself, and, well, I guess that's the final video I'll ever do on the Thing. I know this video was kind of short, but that's only because I just sort of missed making a small video and wanted to fall back and do it at least one more time before releasing my next project. But I look forward to bringing some quality content to y'all pretty soon, and don't forget to leave a— Oh! What the fuck is that?! Oh my gosh. Nothing to see there. Okay. Catch y'all on the flip side.